Okay, it's Roger, Mud Fossil University, going to address President Trump's statements about CO2 and the cause of global warming, and I think he's right. That it's not necessarily CO2. Now, it could be. It's obviously contributing. Methane is a disaster. Nothing we can do about this stuff. Literally nothing we can do about it until we get away from that kind of energy. Simple as that. So, how are we going to do that? This is an acceleration device. You see that little particle beam right there? You see that? You see it turns into little dots all over here, glowing white dots. Why do you think that happens? This is a red laser. As it comes through the air, it crashes into the molecules of air, illuminates them, and creates all these little dots of glowing particles, and especially at the head of the beam, it crushes through these two metal drums. There's two metal pins here. And as it smashes into there, the airplane wing effect causes these particles to invade each other's regions, which they possess. When I was in the Army, I used to say 30 inches all around. Dress it up and cover down, 30 inches all around. That means you don't want anybody violating your space, and then it keeps everything orderly. Well, once you crash into this, you got an issue, because everybody's touching each other, and now we got a disaster. That's plasma. Plasma is what they need to create fusion. If these were heavy particles, hydrogen particles, heavier ones, and come out the other side, you might be able to create helium, which is the byproduct is enormous amounts of electricity, free, not polluting, not worried about excessive anything, and that is a passive device. You don't have to do anything. Right now they're using all the electricity in the world for like a couple of seconds to create a picosecond of plasma. This is a continuous sustained plasma device, and it's passive. You don't do anything. It just sits there. And so that's my point. Why not look into something like this? Now, I'm going to explain to you why I think President Trump is right. It's not necessarily the carbon dioxide. To me, it's a disaster what we're doing with the oil and gas industry and fracking and all that, drilling in the ocean. It's very, very dangerous, and it's very destructive. That's my point. I'm not saying let's go do this stuff, but I'm saying he does have a point, and he is right, because the whole solar system's heating up. Now, I'm going to explain to you exactly why I make these statements. I never make a statement I don't stand behind, and I'm standing behind the ones I made just now. All right, here's why I say that President Trump has a very valid point. I've been studying this for years, the solar system and the way we've traveled through the universe. Now, we're being ripped on the arm of the Milky Way through the galaxy very fast forward. There's the sun, the planets trail spinning this way. We are cascading through the emanations of the sun. You see that little glow on the side of the sun? It's forcing itself into the aether of space. This is not my gift. Someone else did this, and I'll try to credit the person that did it. But this is rubbing off because we're rubbing into ether. They don't understand ether. They try to deny it. They claim there's nothing out there. Of course there's something out there. Everything that's shot off of here is trailing into there. There's things ahead of us that are trailing things into there. It's just a natural event. Plus, light itself is a particle. It's a negative particle. It's obviously a negative particle. When it comes from the sun, it's a negative particle because it impacts with us as a negative particle. In between, it's a negative particle. It's just unseen. It is the dark matter of space. So you saw what we're like. Let's say we're right here and we're being ripped through this space. It's all going around in circles like this. We are going to be coming into some other region as we get ripped through here. It might get denser, it might get thinner, but if it gets denser, my statement is that light is electrons. Light comes from the sun to us as negative particles. Everything there is coated with atoms and molecules, which means they're all coated with negative particles. As these negative particles in the mass of the earth and so forth ripped through these negative particles that are just floating around and laying around out here, that is the same thing that happens in a motor. It creates magnetic fields. It's the same thing that happened in that acceleration thing. So what does that mean? Those magnetic fields are being created by an impact. So what does that mean? Heat. What does that mean? Heat. All right, and here's the evidence. Solar flares are increasing. Are they dangerous? Yes, they are dangerous. And why are they dangerous? Because we're being scrubbed through denser ether, which means denser negative particles, which means more magnetic interaction, because everything there is coated with negative particles. Everything there is. Everything. Every surface, every molecule, every atom, every gas particle, every water and liquid particle, they are all on their extremity negative, because everything is coated with negatives. It cannot be any other way. As these negative masses flow through the negative particles that are being thrown from masses like this, and just sending around through the sun. We see them, starlight and all that stuff. They're coming from somewhere, and they are particles. They're not just nothing, like Einstein says. Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. They all go the same speed. That's nonsense. Now, this is scrubbing through, heating, overheating, and everything else is overheating at the same time. That's why you're getting so much of this solar sunspot activities and magnetic anomalies. Now, what else happens? How else can I prove what I'm saying? Well, I can prove it because this way. The surface of this is only 6,000 degrees. You get way out here, it's millions of degrees. They have no explanation whatsoever how it exceeded from 6,000 to 1,000,000. I have the explanation, is it's rubbing out here through the ether and scrubbing, so this is 1,000,000 degrees. And the heat is coming backwards. It's not going out. All right? I'm not saying it's not coming from in here, but it's being created out there by the scrubbing through the ether. So I'm saying President Trump is right, because all the planets in the solar system are heating up. I think Venus is heated up by 2,500% in the last 10 years or so. And they're all heating up. So, and this is not strictly related to the Earth. And we didn't send our carbon dioxide to everybody else's planet. So, he has a point. But the only solution out of this is fusion. I'm going to tell you that right now, Mr. President. You can do all you want with coal and this and that, and you're going to just destroy the Earth. That's my statement. I mean, that's what I'm going to tell you. That's a fact as far as I'm concerned. I have free will to say it, and that's what I'm going to say. And the only way out of this is a Manhattan Project for fusion. And you will be known throughout history for that if you sign on board to this. And I don't think it's that hard. I don't think it's as hard as you think. I think all you got to do is that accelerator and getting that sustained plasma and turn that into helium, and you're going to have a ton of electricity. And I think it can be done in a very compact, small form, because it's not something that you have to use extreme measures to create the plasma. It's a couple little metal pins.